So, content, yes, content is not that hard. And don't come for me when I say this, it is not that hard. And I'm only telling you this because if you're not generating leads and you're not generating sales, that is because you have a marketing problem. Now, what kind of marketing problem you have? That is, no, there's only two things. Number one, are you visible enough? That's number one. Can your ideal client find you? And number two, if you are visible, in other words, you're putting out content like I'm doing right now, that means if you're putting out content like you are doing, like I'm doing right now, that means you're visible. Are you doing it enough? Right. And number two, if you are visible, are you communicating what you're saying? Is your sales psychology, your way you're communicating, is it magnetically attracting your ideal client? Whether you're communicating through this, as in the YouTube, or whether you're communicating through an email, whether you're communicating through a podcast, however you put it, push it down. Content is not that hard. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how I create effortless content. And I forgot to record on my phone, but it's okay. How I create effortless content, because content is not that hard. And I'm going to show you how. So let's get into how to create effortless content. So I know you've heard have a content day, as in content day is where you pick a day that you write out the script of the things that you're going to talk about, like your POV, if it's a talking reel, it's a talking head, or it's a reel or something in that nature. And then after you do that, you also want to have videos to back up your content, right? And you may have the day that you actually shoot the content. Now, does that work? Yeah, 100%. Does it work for you? I don't know. You have to try it. For me, creating effortless content is a little different because when I'm creating content, I am creating content based on who I am, right? So it may work for some people who are A-type personality, who have to know what we're doing, when we're doing it, which, don't get me wrong, as a former law enforcement, that's part of the military part is in me. So I get that. I totally get that. Why people has to have their days that they're writing out the script and the days that they're actually filming the content. And yeah, I get that. I get that. I used to have one of my videographer who traveled with me. Her name is Bailey. She used to come to my home and we used to do content all the time. And she would do exactly that. Just have it ready to write out for me, and then she'll film the content. And it, for me who have ADHD, OCD, my own diagnosis, I don't have any medical things saying I am, but I feel that way sometimes. For me, I can't create content that way. Like for my content to really be good, to where like I want it for the people to hear it, I learned through that experience that I can create content that way. Now, that type of content for a person with ADHD, OCD, all the stuff, that is good if you're launching a conference. Like I had that Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference, and we did some videos and filming and all that stuff to promote for the conference. That I can do. That okay, that I can do. It's a promotion, it's something coming up. But when we're talking about daily content and drive leads and sale, when we're talking about those type of content, that's different. These are your daily content. These are not like the launches, but even in your daily content, you're still leading them to somewhere. Okay. So I get it. And when I say content is not that hard, it's not that I am saying that anyone just can do it and it'll work for everybody. I think I'm just trying to say that we have to take out the guessing game about how to do content. We know that's just a part of our business. So we got to realize that we just have to do what we have to do. Now, when it talks about creating content, let's talk about how I like to create content. Okay. So after realizing who I am, my ADHD, my OCD, right? After realizing who I am, right? I started working with who I am and not against who I am. And what I mean by that is, you have to market your business. You have to put your business out there. So how can I do it in a way that is effortlessly? And because in my 20s, baby, I would be going live constantly, and just doing the marketing. Now, that ain't working for your girl anymore. They ain't ain't working for your girl anymore. I used to literally go to work and then come home and create content. And that was when I had my 9 to 5. And I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2017. I haven't clocked in since 2017. So it's like, I've been full-time at this game. So what I can tell you is you learn to work after you reach a certain revenue mark where you're proving yourself. I think the first 100K, you're just trying to prove yourself. But then after you did it, you're like, oh, I did it. I can do it again. Right now, the level now is like, okay, I work better how? I work better how? And I work better when I document and not create. And I know you heard that before. Document your content and not create it, not come up with a script, come up with this. I work better on the fly. That's why these videos are not edited. They're just up and go. And because you have to know what your outcome you're looking for. For example, these videos, they're not supposed to get like a whole bunch of likes and comments and so on. It's for the people who met me online or met me on stage or met me somewhere and they're like, okay, I want to learn more about her. So they're more like, okay, let me see if she is who she says she is, right? And I am that girl. But anyways, with that being said, your idea of why you're doing the content is behind it. Like this platform is most of the time coaches, consultant, we're doing it of the consistency of new people, new leads that are coming in that want to be seeing you, they want to hear you, they want to know who you are. So this content itself is more like a cultivating a new relationship type of content with my new leads. So that's number one, right? Boom, you got that. So we're going to document and we're not going to create. Now, how do we document? Ooh, Josiah, let's get to it. So when I mean by document, not create, baby, baby, I am the queen of document, not create. So the effortless content, I guarantee you already have it in your phone. I guarantee you. And my husband and I just came back from vacation, and in my phone, I just started snapping different things and different things I was doing. And I just kind of kept it in my phone. And I just kind of leave it there. I created a few seconds of a video, like within 1 to 6 seconds of that video. That's all I did, 1 to 6 seconds. And as I created out those 1 to 6 seconds, I just left it in my phone, gone about my business, enjoy the family, enjoy the pool, enjoy the lazy river, enjoy the amazing amenities that was there at the resort, enjoy all of that. I wasn't looking at, oh, let me create some content. No, I just kept it in my phone. Now, and just kind of left it there for a minute. Then when I get back in the mode, hear the word, the mode of, okay, I'm back to work now, back to the grind. Then I was literally laying in my bed at 5:30. I'm like, oh, let me just go ahead and create content. Now, did I get up and do a script? No, I just found a phone. I found a video of 6 seconds that I already had in my phone, and I used that to create the content from the vacation. Boom, I'm done. Add some, because here's the thing. It's not heavily the video, it's more of what is the caption saying, and is the caption really speaking to your audience? That is more important. That's more of the 80-20 type of thing. What is the caption saying? The video catch the attention. The caption cultivate your people, and your call to action close them. Ooh, your girl jamming today. So captivate, cultivate, close. So that's what I did, and it was done. It was literally done. There goes my content right there. Finding something in my phone that I already created from vacation and use that. And I will use that not just from the vacation, as time come up, as ideas come up, as things come up. I will pull out that video and I will create some type of text overlay on that content, and that be it. Add some music to it, baby. We jamming. So that's one way of creating content, right? You document it, you don't create. You don't sit there and have to plan out your day. It won't work for your ADHD brain. It won't work for your OCD brain if you're anything like me. The other way that I like to create content, oh my goodness, this is my favorite way of creating content. And the reason why I like this way of creating content is because this content get more attention than anything else. When I first started off, I was so heavy on creating direct content that's talk about business, 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 business. Like I was a queen of business. But I think what happened after you've proven yourself so much is kind of, I was asking my husband, like, what else for me to do? Like, what is a thing that is calling me? I've already been on TV. I've already wrote the book. I've already, made it six figures in a day. I've already did. I was thinking about what is a thing that is calling me? What is the thing that is pulling to the next thing for me? Because that's why you do it. That's your purpose. And for me in this season, what I think is best for me, and that what as a leader, what help my clients is teaching them how to have real life conversation and real life experiences. I mean, matter of fact, my whole book, The Challenge Course, was exactly about that. So what does that mean? What does it have to do with content? Is I learn now my content are based on my own stories and my own experiences and my own belief system. So what does that mean for you? That means if you put yourself in my business, you're going to become a content. Correct. Okay. Now send that. And that's not subliminal. That's real. Okay. So that means, what does that mean? So my girlfriends, they know, like we have our date night and we have our girlfriends night, our couples night that we may do and whatever it may be. And it's so funny that we'll sit at the restaurant and they'll say something like, okay, we're going to be in your email next week, right? Or something in that nature. Because as life is happening, I'm actually creating the content, right? My husband has this thing where he's just, matter of fact, I'm writing a book and he's like, I knew a book was going to come with this mess. And showing up, showing up. So entrepreneurs or online people, I am teaching you how to monetize your influence. I literally have a podcast that is called Monetize Your Influence. And a lot of people kind of miss the name of what that means. So let me break it down to you for the people who sometimes the elevator don't go all the way to the top. Okay. Let me break that down for you. Monetizing your influence, that means everything around you, you have the ability to monetize. You have the ability to monetize everything around you. So if you get in the way, you're part of that monetization. Right? So anytime something happened, I will learn the lessons behind that thing, and that becomes my content. Baby, while everybody's hurting and having pain, I'm profiting. Like monetizing your influence. That's what it means. So, for example, sometimes you may go to work, and if you still have a 9 to 5 and you go to work and something may happen, like a breakthrough may happen from a lesson that was learned. You take that content and then you put that out there for somebody else who's going through the exact same thing. How did you heal from that? How do you understand that? How do you get on the better side of that? And you use that, like literally when I remember not knowing that I could do this, but doing it and didn't know how to communicate it. Stop right there. Didn't know how to communicate what my skill of how I was able to do that. And it wasn't until my husband kept saying, "You're the brain, the brain, the brain. Hey, brain," and I'm like, "What is he?" And I got it. Like I will take the pencil dropping on the floor and I can leverage that and turn that into a story. So I want you to really think about what some things that you've overcame, what some things that you survived, what some stories that you overcame that you can speak on, because that right there will connect you to new audiences or connect just about the product you sell, but that will connect your audience more than anything else. Like that will be the one that connect to you. So one of the thing is people are saying, "Sherry, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write my email list." I'm like, baby girl, something is happening in your life. Something is happening in your life right now. And there's somebody out there that's listening to you that want to know how you overcame this and how you do this and how you did that. If you're just going around talking about the product or the pen is gray and it writes well, that gets boring after a while. But we want to talk about after you write with that pen, what is that able to do? What is the outcome of that? Right? And we want to talk about before you even got the pen, how was your life before you got it? You see what I'm saying? I took a whole pen and making a whole situation out of it. And let's say you don't feel like you have a story because there's nothing much going on. Baby, live a little bit longer. You'll get a story. You'll get a story. So Now, what does this mean? I told you this story before. I'm going to tell you this story again. I was my coach. I was learning how to do Facebook ads. I invested 5 figures in learning how to do Facebook ads, and I was one of the speaker at the conference. And when I was speaking at the conference, the second speaker, shout out to Macy, she went up and she spoke about how she went on vacation, and on her vacation, she met this gentleman who was the godfather or the granddad of everyone, and he had paid for everybody to come or have vacation, all the grandkids, all the spouses, all of them, everybody to come. And she just kind of said in that moment how one day she hopes to be like that gentleman, one day her business to be profitable, to be just like that gentleman, to be able to afford that. Well, my husband and I did that for our wedding. Like we literally create the space for people to come and fly in and all this stuff. So with that being said, I understand that feeling listening to it, right? I literally understand that feeling when she was talking, because we had that destination when we had that same feeling, so I could relate to what she was saying. I was like, man, one day I want to be able to do that for a lot more people. And then I took my clients to Jamaica and all this stuff, so I could relate to what she was saying. And even if you did not do these things, you could relate to the conversation. Like, man, I hope one day in my business I'm able to do that. And from that, just that conversation, she was able to sell her audience on that experience. Now, let me tell you something. Had she not went on that vacation, she wouldn't have that experience. She wouldn't have that story. So I want to tell you, even more importantly, your struggles, more important, the things that you're healing from, baby, those are the best content. And if people want to volunteer and put themselves inside of your life, make them pay your mortgage. Okay. So you have a story. And here's the thing. If you feel like you don't have a story, you can take this video, send it to somebody, right? And you can give your feedback on this video. And that's content by itself. Think about the Real Housewife, how people will show an episode and then they'll give their feedback on that episode. Baby, that's content. So if you're into that stuff, that's content. It's to the point now where my friends and family know me and they're like, yeah, we're going to end up in her book. Or, yeah, if you see her driving a new car, I pay for it. Or something like that. Because I use everything. Okay? I use everything. I don't do rent free. I monetize it. Hear me clearly. I use everything. So, and everything that get in my way, you get monetized. So I'm telling you this because I want you to start using your brain to leverage opportunity, leverage things. Like, I want you to use your brain. That has afforded me the ability to be where I am today at 10:44 a.m. sitting here on a camera talking to you in a house that I built. So, hello. Content. Be cringe. Get uncomfortable. I did a whole masterclass on this. Be cringe. Get uncomfortable. Do the uncomfortable things that others won't do so you can have the things that others don't have. And I learned that. Now, if you're still kind of healing and if you're still going through the process of it, it may be something where you may be delaying it, okay, if you can't handle the motion. But if it's something where you're like, listen, what is the lesson that I could learn from this? What is the takeaway from this? And because, again, somebody out there is going through what you're going through, and the tools you use to get over it, or the tools you use to go through it, not get over it, they want to know because their turn is coming. They're looking for it and they're willing to pay for it. So I want you to really examine your life and hey, what is going on with me right now? What have I overcame? And how do I tie that into a product? How do I take that thing and I tie it into a product of how I can relate to it? I have things on my desk right now. I have Emma Green book, Start With Yourself. Yeah, that book. I have her book, Start With Yourself, and I can create a whole conversation around that, giving feedback around that. So I'm kind of just sharing with you to make your brain kind of tap into what you could do. Because if you follow me enough, I will literally brainwash you to become a better person. Yeah, that's what I do. And using the brain that God gave you to come up with ideas. So when you're thinking about content, stop overthinking it. Stop overthinking it like, I got to get this right. I got to get this. Babe, when I started, I had an iPhone 6. You hear me? So why am I telling you this? Okay, Sherry, you got the Sony FX20 camera, and you got this bright camera, and you got all of this stuff. You got this background, and baby, that ain't how I started off. Okay, let me shame the devil. That is not how I had an iPhone 6. You hear me? Going live, just talking every single day, yapping. Matter of fact, my son and my nephew, they would ask him, "What does your mom do for a living?" He'd be like, "Just Google her," or he'd be like, she just yap for a living. so so that's what I had, an iPhone 6, and I was just talking about how life had hit me. I life had hit me bad through going through a divorce and going through all this stuff. Life had hit me. But see, here's the thing. You cannot hit a blessed woman, because we're going to take that bad boy. We're going to literally create the stories and the conversations and the timeline and all of that. Like, those are my best stories to share on stages. Like, those are the best stories. I know that you have overcame cancer. I know that you have overcame infidelity. I know you have overcame bankruptcy. I know you have overcame the things that the devil tried to shame you about. Use that ish. Use it. Because you will get so tired of seeing my blessing that you want to turn off your phone and your TV. That's how you leverage your opportunity. The reason life is happening to you is for you to become the authority and the resource for somebody else. You don't blame the situation. You take, what can I learn from this situation, and overcame it. And my husband and I was having a prayer this morning before he go to work, and I was like, let our marriage be an example to other people who has been through this situation before, who have overcame different things in our life. Let our marriage be a story that we can fight with each other and not against each other, and stand up to anyone and know that we are solid. Like, have that conversation. So you have something in your life that you have overcame that the devil don't want you to share, because they're in the story, but they're not in the outcome. So if you want if you want to win, share that story. Put it out there. Because at the end of the day, the people who can relate or going through it, who is stuck, and the reason why I see most creators or most high achieving women make more money is not, they're not smarter, they're not more educated. What happened is they know the opportunity of leveraging, and they know how to be unapologetic about the experiences and the things that they have, and they're okay with putting it out there, because who gonna touch me, boo? Right? So it's one of those things, like, I don't care what you say, because here's the thing. If Martin Luther King didn't put his stuff out there, what would happen? If Harriet Tubman didn't do her thing, and then Mother Teresa didn't do her thing, we wouldn't have these stories. Oprah is amazing about putting her stories out there, and I can't remember her name right now. Gail I should be right after Oprah, right? Gail putting her story out there. So my friends even know. Now, there are times, baby, I will overshare. Right. And I have to sometimes be like, okay, I can't, my son, my husband don't want me to do my mom. So sometimes I got to hold myself on the things I said, but because I'm an open book. I think that's what makes my life's different. I'm an open book, because I knew I knew my life was going to be a case study for other people. And I was okay with that. I was okay with being so transparent. I was okay with that, but I also sometimes got to remember that, okay, you're not the only one in this story here. Like, so, when I went through a whole um single, married, divorced, remarried, and I took everybody through the whole journey of it. I took it through the whole journey. Leaving out my house and moving into an apartment, a 600 square footage apartment, and rebuilding my life from that, and all of this stuff. And some of it is written inside of my book, The Challenge Code. But had I not went through rock bottom, don't even want to see me coming, because he know that I am dangerous. Like, so it's like, oh, we here now? Okay, so what we going to do with this? Like, literally, We here now? Is that what we're doing? Right? And it is so clicked now with the people around me where they'll anything that happened, like I went to the tax office and they were trying to ding me on something about my property. And thank God I had receipts. I stay with your girl, stay with receipts. Okay. I had receipts on my property. And anyways, when I had that receipt, they was like, "Oh, okay, we didn't send you the letter." They realized the error, but the idea here is I came home and I told that story. And when I told that story, another person was going through the exact same thing. They DM me and said, "Sherry, how did you do it?" Now, property tax and all that stuff, that's not my area of expertise, but I was able to share freely to the person of how they could fix that issue as well. What if I didn't capture that moment? What if I didn't have that story? What if I didn't do that? So, my point here is the reason why you go through joy and pain and happiness and sadness, that is not for you because you're going to be crumbled up in a bed. Let the devil pay for that car. Let him pay for that house. Let him pay for the things that you desire in life. Let them pay. Let them watch. Let him watch and let him pay. And the reason I'm saying that is you have more content than you believe you have. There's some coworkers that do you wrong and you're like, what is the story behind that? How can I have what is the lesson that I learned behind that? You're not monetizing people, you're monetizing the wisdom and knowledge that you learn from the experiences that you went through. And now it's time for you to share that knowledge. Now it's time for you to share that experience. Why would you go through all of that and don't share it with somebody? And you're like, and I get it. There are times people are like, well, I don't want people to hear what happened. Well, baby, that's on them. Drink water, mind your business, and go get a therapy. Right? So you got to be careful, right? So I get it. I get it. So I totally get it. But the idea again is you went through the breakthrough and had the life breakthrough that you have because God wanted you to share your story. God wanted to share how that incident did not break you. God wanted to share you how you went from zero, which is one of my top stories, how I went from zero to six figures days to the life that I have to this, how I did it in an apartment, a 600 square footage apartment. I have a post on Instagram that when I was leaving my apartment, when I was coming into my home, that is the most shared video that I have, and I have to go dig for it. And my realtor at the time, shout out to Yvonne, I think I had got the square footage less on my home, and she's like, "Girl, if you don't up that square footage," I'm like, "Okay." So people are watching. Thank you. Thank you for watch. But the idea again here is there are people commenting like, "That's my goal. That's what I want to be. That's what, all of that stuff." And here's a reason more. I want to end here by saying this. Another reason why you want to share your content. And this is how I've lived my life before marriage, before divorce, before remarried, before having a child. This is how I have always lived my life. When you're able to put yourself out there and share your content, when people try to talk bad about who you are and your character, they can't win. Because it comes to where the world know you better than a fan that keep watching. So when the world has been part of your conversations for years, you don't have to say a word. Who you are, what you do, your receipts, you don't have to prove anything to anybody because Google me, boo. Right? It's one of those things where you're like, I put it out there. I do this, I do that. So I think the benefits for me as living in the online space, and I want to invite you to get there, get in that confidence where you can put your stuff out there, is because the person listening to this right now, you're going through something. You're going through a challenge and you're going through an experience and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get over this? How am I going to get through this? And I'm telling you, as someone who has gone through so much in my life, I have someone who I've been through the rock bottom so many times. I've built my way out of every trenches. As someone who has done it, I am here to encourage you that because you've done it so many times, you know you're going to get out. But it's not just about getting out. It's like, what is the lessons that I am going to learn when I get out? Like, what is the lessons? And I will literally intentionally keep a notepad with me to write down, boom, 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 write down my lessons of what I learned so I can come back and share it here with you in real time. That content cannot be beat. Let me say it again. That real life experience, that real content, the real situation of how you defeated the devil, of how you defeated anything that was up against you, of how you're able to get on the other side, whether it was you beat cancer, whether your marriage got back better, whatever you overcame bankruptcy, whatever your story is, however you were able to get on the other side, that is what sells. Not how pink the product is or how this is that. Now, baby, how did you do it? How did you do it? Literally, like the faith that you take when you're getting ready to do something, the faith that you take, that's why you're different from everybody else. Because as an entrepreneur, we take some faith, baby. I will invest in something in a minute. And I take some L's along the way. I do. Ooh, Jesus, I took some L's. And I'm able to tell you about that. Matter of fact, I think my last video, I talk about sending out 2,700 emails. And I got 6 responsive out of 2,700 emails. 6 response, 2 said yes out of the 6. But nobody talk about the 2,700. I do. You take some L's, but you take some losses. And the reason why you take those losses, those are also content. Those are effortless content. So you're thinking, oh, Sherry, but nothing has happened in my life. Girl, it is. It is. Live a little bit more. And if you're saying nothing is happening, take a vacation. See what stir up from there, right? Go to a dealership of your car that you want to drive. Go to a new model home and sit in that. See the feeling of what that gives you. All of that spark new ideas, new information for you to create content around it, and then just embody that. And that's what I would listen. Anytime I'm feeling like I'm not feeling in my creative juices, I go higher than my amount. I go higher. I go in my creative juices. I will book that flight. I would do this. I would do that, and then my creative juices start coming in, because if I have to deal with a low vibration or a low IQ, I can't function. So I have to elevate myself and go in spaces. My girlfriend and I at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, she grabbed me, got in her car. We went driving. Now, 2:30 in the morning. We're out driving to some properties that she bought. And she has some trailer homes that she had invested in and she bought, and she was showing me her trailer homes. We had invested some properties together. And also she had another house that she was showing me that I was helping her in the legal aspect of that. And I was looking I'm like, at 2:30 in the morning, most people like us are at the club and we're over here doing real estate. It was just like fascinating, like how we just think different from the average person. Like 2:30 in the morning, like we're sitting there, we're having pizza and wine and discussing real estate. That's content. And we were so tired. And we were trying to do the math around the rental property and how much the money would generate and so on and so forth, the overhead costs and all of this stuff. And it's at 2:30 morning. So this is, again, high value people. That's what we think. And I got home so late. I got home so late. And when I got home, 2:30 is late for me. Okay. 2:30 I'm in the bed early. 2:30 is late for me. But here's the lessons from that. Like, what I got is like, my friends are different. We are just different. We just think differently from the average person, right? Some people would be out doing things. Our mind is like, okay, legacy and wealth building and matter of fact, when we went there, in investing in some trailer homes. Yeah, I got those investing in some trailer homes. We found a property that low key your girl might get. I keep calling the word trailer all the time, so I guess I need to do something about that. So that's my sign. And she's like, hey, this one is going on the market. Had I not went there, I would not have known that. So again, live. Life will give you the content. Keep living. Life will get, what's your takeaway from this as we're ending out? Life is going to give you the content. You don't have to script it out. Life is just going to give you content. Grab a book and say, okay, what is the lesson that I get from this? And then after the lesson, you come and tell us verbatim. Hey, this is what I learned from this. This is what I went through. This is what I learned from. Like when that second book come out, baby, whoo, I know you have it in you and I know you can do it. And guess what? I want to hear from you. I want you to DM me because as you do, and I love this for you, DM me and tell me what was your takeaway from this video and send this to a friend who may need to up level their content, who may need to, invest in their own business. Send this to a friend. It's your girl, Sherry Summer Bell. Talk to you later. Have a good day. Be blessed.